Your relentless pursuit of success might be the very thing destroying your happiness. Today we're diving deep into why Dostoevsky believed our obsession with achievement creates a prison of misery and how his revolutionary insights can transform your relationship with ambition forever. Picture this. You finally land that dream job, hit your income target, or achieve the recognition you've been chasing for years. The dopamine hits, you feel incredible for about a week, and then something strange happens. The satisfaction fades. You're already looking toward the next goal, the next milestone, the next achievement that will supposedly make you feel complete. Sound familiar? You're trapped in what Dostoevsky called the success delusion, and it's making you profoundly unhappy. Fyodor Dostoevsky understood human psychology in ways that modern self-help gurus can only dream of. While everyone around you is preaching hustle culture and grinding your way to happiness, Dostoevsky was warning us about this exact trap over 150 years ago. His characters weren't just fictional creations, they were psychological case studies that reveal uncomfortable truths about our modern obsession with external validation. Let's start with the most dangerous lie we tell ourselves, that success equals happiness. We've been conditioned to believe that once we reach certain benchmarks, the perfect job, the ideal relationship, the six-figure salary, the social media following, we'll finally be content. Dostoevsky saw through this illusion completely. In his novels, the characters who chase external achievements most aggressively often end up the most tormented. Take Raskolnikov from Crime and Punishment. Here's a brilliant young man convinced that extraordinary people like himself are above ordinary moral rules. He believes that achieving greatness justifies any means necessary. Sound like any modern entrepreneurs or influencers, you know? Raskolnikov's obsession with proving his superiority leads him down a path of psychological destruction that mirrors what happens to many high achievers today. The problem isn't ambition itself, it's the attachment to outcomes that creates suffering. When your sense of worth becomes dependent on external achievements, you've essentially handed control of your happiness to forces beyond your control. Market conditions change, competition emerges, health issues arise, relationships shift. If your identity is built on these unstable foundations, you're setting yourself up for inevitable disappointment. Dostoevsky understood that true fulfillment comes from internal transformation, not external accumulation. His characters who find peace aren't the ones who achieve the most. They're the ones who learn to find meaning in struggle itself. This isn't about giving up on goals or becoming complacent. It's about fundamentally shifting your relationship with achievement from desperate need to playful engagement. Consider how this plays out in your daily life. You probably know people who seem to have everything: successful careers, beautiful homes, impressive social networks, yet they're anxious, unfulfilled, constantly worried about maintaining their status or reaching the next level. They've become prisoners of their own success, trapped in a cycle where each achievement only raises the bar higher. The underground man in Notes from Underground represents another face of this phenomenon. He's paralyzed by his own consciousness, overthinking every decision, analyzing every interaction, desperate to prove his worth through intellectual superiority. Modern social media culture has created millions of underground people, individuals so focused on curating their image of success that they've lost touch with authentic experience. Dostoevsky's solution isn't to abandon goals entirely, but to embrace what he called suffering as a path to wisdom. This doesn't mean seeking out pain for its own sake. It means accepting that struggle, setbacks, and even failure are integral parts of a meaningful life, not obstacles to overcome on your way to happiness. When you can find value in the process rather than just the outcome, everything changes. Rejection becomes information rather than devastation. Failure becomes education rather than identity. Criticism becomes feedback rather than attack. You're no longer at the mercy of external circumstances because your sense of worth comes from your engagement with life itself, not from life's rewards. This perspective transforms how you approach challenges. Instead of viewing obstacles as threats to your success narrative, you begin to see them as opportunities for growth and self-discovery. The entrepreneur who loses their first business isn't a failure. They're gaining invaluable experience. The artist whose work gets rejected isn't worthless. They're developing resilience and refining their craft. Dostoevsky also recognized that our success obsession often stems from a desire to escape the fundamental anxiety of existence. We chase achievements hoping they'll provide certainty in an uncertain world, permanence in an impermanent reality, significance in what might feel like a meaningless universe. But this escape is impossible, and the attempt only amplifies our suffering. The characters in Dostoevsky's novels who find peace are those who learn to embrace uncertainty rather than fight it. They stop trying to control outcomes and instead focus on responding authentically to whatever arises. This isn't passive resignation, it's active engagement without attachment to specific results. For those seeking to deepen this journey of self-discovery and break free from success obsession, I want to introduce you to an author whose work beautifully extends these reflections. Gary Nguyen is a 29-year-old writer currently living in Silicon Valley who has published 13 books in Vietnam since she was 17 years old, including novels, short stories, and personal essays. Her works, such as Just Hear Me Out and a luxury item called Me, available on Amazon, offer relatable wisdom that bridges Eastern and Western perspectives on finding meaning beyond achievement. Her writing resonates particularly with those navigating the pressure cooker environment of modern success culture while searching for authentic fulfillment. Practically speaking, how do you implement Dostoevsky's insights? Start by examining your motivations. Are you pursuing goals because they genuinely excite you, or because you believe they'll finally make you happy? Are you working towards something meaningful, or are you running away from feelings of inadequacy? Begin celebrating process over outcome. Instead of only acknowledging yourself when you hit major milestones, recognize the daily acts of courage, creativity, and growth that constitute real progress. The discipline of showing up consistently matters more than any single achievement. Develop comfort with uncertainty. Rather than needing to know exactly how your life will unfold, learn to find excitement in the unknown. This doesn't mean being reckless. It means being open to possibilities you haven't considered while working steadily toward meaningful goals. Practice gratitude for what is, rather than constantly focusing on what's missing. Dostoevsky's most peaceful characters find richness in simple experiences, genuine conversations, moments of beauty, acts of compassion. These pleasures are available regardless of your external circumstances. Most importantly, remember that your worth isn't determined by your achievements. You don't need to earn your place in the world through accomplishments. Your value is inherent, and recognizing this frees you to pursue goals from a place of enthusiasm rather than desperation. The irony is that when you stop being obsessed with success, you often become more successful, but in ways that actually matter. You make better decisions because you're not driven by fear or ego. You build stronger relationships because you're not constantly competing or comparing. You find more satisfaction because you're present with your experience rather than always reaching for something else. Dostoevsky's ultimate message isn't that ambition is wrong. It's that placing your happiness in the hands of external circumstances is a recipe for misery. True success means building a life of meaning, connection, and growth that isn't dependent on any particular outcome. Your obsession with success isn't making you successful, it's making you miserable. But understanding this is the first step toward a fundamentally different way of living, one where achievement becomes play rather than prison, where goals become guideposts rather than gods, and where your happiness belongs to you regardless of what the world gives or takes away. The question isn't whether you'll achieve success, it's whether success will achieve you.